Welcome back. Sunday night Old Testament studies, Exodus chapter 11. Only has 10 verses, short chapter here. It's sort of the preliminary. We're getting ready for the biggest, worst plague of all. If you're an Egyptian, it's the worst plague of all, especially if you're a firstborn Egyptian. But let's pick up right there. We've went through 9 of them so far. And seems like old Pharaoh every once in a while decides I better let them people go, but then he changes his mind. His heart gets harder and harder. So he keeps getting plagues poured out upon him. And that brings us to chapter 11. We went through 9, getting ready for the 10th one. The Lord said to Moses, "Yet will I bring one plague more upon Pharaoh and upon Egypt, and afterwards he will let you go thence. Hence, when he shall let you go, he shall surely thrust you out hence altogether. Speak now in the ears of the people, and let every man borrow of his neighbor, ask or borrow of his neighbor, give me your jewels, give me your silver, and give me your gold." You think, well, why would they do that? Well, it looks to me like the Lord just changed these people's hearts. They felt bad for the Egyptians. They looked on Moses as a great man, and they did give him this stuff and said, go on your way. It was back pay anyway. All those years they'd been forced into slave labor and hadn't been getting properly paid. So the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. Moreover, the man Moses was very great in the land of Egypt, in the sight of Pharaoh's servants, in the sight of the people. So it seems like Pharaoh's servants and all the people of the land, they were sympathetic with Moses and his plight for God's people. But it was Pharaoh that was the problem here, the leadership. And Moses said, "Thus saith the Lord, about midnight will I go out into the midst of Egypt, and all," underline that in your Bible, "all the firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die. From the firstborn of Pharaoh that sits upon his throne," even Pharaoh's son's going to die, "even to the firstborn of the maidservants that's behind the mill, and all the firstborn of the beast." I said Pharaoh's son. It could have been Pharaoh's daughter been the firstborn, wasn't it? But whoever was going to die. The movie had a son, didn't it? The point is here, it looks to me like God says it's going to only be the firstborn, not the second or third, but the firstborn of everybody in Egypt, from the ones in the palace to the maidservant down here, and even the ones out in the barn, the animals. The firstborn's going to die. And when they say this up front and it comes to pass, there's no other explanation for it. You can't blow that one off and say, well, it must have been some kind of disease passed through the land, because they'd never heard of any disease that only killed the firstborn. It's exactly the way God predicted that it was going to be. And there'll be a great cry throughout all the land of Egypt, such as there was none like it, nor shall be like it any more. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue. They're not going to be bothered by it at all, because God's going to make a distinction between his people and the devil's crowd, against man nor beast, that you may know how that the Lord has put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. And see, that's the point of these plagues too. They also serve as a witness to the Egyptians and to the Israelites too, that hey, God's involved in this. "And all these thy servants shall come down unto me," Moses said, "Thus saith the Lord." They're going to come down to Moses, bow themselves to me, saying, "Get thee out, and all the people that follow thee." Now Pharaoh tried to make some compromises before and say just some of the people, but he says, all the people that follow me, they're going to tell me to get out of here. "And after that I'll go out." And he went out from Pharaoh, Moses did, in a great anger. What was Moses mad about? Well, maybe this. Moses thought, it's bad that all these people have to die. And all Pharaoh had to do was listen to the Lord to start with, and we could have settled this. And the Lord said to Moses, "Pharaoh shall not hearken to you," he won't listen to you, "that my wonders may be multiplied in the land of Egypt." And Moses and Aaron did all these wonders before Pharaoh. And the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, so that he would not let the children of Israel go out of his land. Now that sets up chapter 12, which we're going to finally get to, the plague of all plagues here, the death of the firstborn. And it only affected those that didn't have faith, those that didn't believe God. And those that did believe God, took action and did what God told them to do. That's how your faith is revealed. If you believe God, you're going to do what God tells you to do. God's told us a lot in this book here. If you're obedient to him, that reveals your faith. And that's setting up chapter 12 for us. See you next week.